talk about the nature's way, the rhythm, and how things happen. Actually, I can start from this one. When I had the video about the Toyota production system, one of the scenes in that was to describe how the organization functions, and it was related to the music. 3 key elements: rhythm, harmony, and tone put together. And that's how the organization can function to be efficient, effective, people involved, as if the whole organization is vibrating. And I can talk a lot about this. And maybe you may not be interested, but I still want to do it. What started this thinking, and beyond thinking in my view, is that it was 4 o'clock, 4:20 or so, when I start to feel something clearing up in my mind. And I thought, I'd go back to sleepy because it's too early. But then I stayed in that state, relaxed, half asleep, but this time not half asleep. I was quite awake. There's clarity in it. I don't know where I can start, but perhaps I'll start with this one. Okay, this one. When we walk on the street as a group, even if we don't know each other, like in the big city, I remember those moments when I was going to the college and we go on this street. We don't know each other, but as you walk, you develop a rhythm. Right, left, stepping sound, and there's some kind of a vibration, and everybody's quiet, just walking. And eventually, everybody's having the rhythm. 1, 2, 1, 2. I think I can use the word entrainment, which is synchronizing. And this idea of the synchronization is so profound, and I can think of the case of a body. There's a rhythm of the heart and blood circulating, and nutrition's going into certain direction and certain part, but as a whole, there's a coherence. If you can picture of a bird, I was thinking about this, maybe a swan or some bird going from the north to south for the change of the season. At certain point, maybe there's hundreds of those birds. Finally, jump up into the air and travel thousands of miles to spend the summer down in a different location. And when you picture the bird flying, they have the synchronized movement. It's harmony, balancing. And that helps them to be in sync. Less waste of energy, but coherence. When I had the awakening experience, this has been Vipassana. Before that, I was struggling, I was in pain. But something happened that I started to watch what my body was doing when I thought, is it because I'm trying to get out of the pain? I'm having a pain. When I thought like that, I was looking at my body. And then I saw the swelling of the rhythm or the vibration happening at the chakra, perhaps at the belly. Yes, it was belly, the basic chakra there. And it started to spread out and develop the momentum. And I was, sucked up in such a phenomena. And the mind was just observing. And this rhythm was spreading out and developing the rhythm so strong. The energy was building up and my body was shaking. And I cleaned up my whole system instead of unorganized to a more organized, better organized way. So that the energy was flowing and developing this whole conduit, opening up, and then the vibration spread out. I was in the bliss, ecstasy. So the point of this is that there's certain rhythm, harmony, and the tone. In the case of orchestra, symphony, or in the body, or in the flying of the bird. The other thing I thought was that when we are, say, I'm here living in this Zen temple, and there's certain protocol, how things get done. And when it's synchronized, things become so apparent without thinking. Things start to move. We went for a walk. On the way back, it was raining, but we did. When we went to this location, we sat in the rain or came back and sitting in the rain. Each doing their thing and group as a whole doing the thing, and there's some kind of resonance. Entrainment. First different, but start to find the rhythm. So the Zen temple life is very detailed, jikijitsu, or without anybody saying, certain things need to be done. There's some work assigned for each person. Let's say I'm responsible of altar. There are like 6 areas, and then have the flower and the candles ready and cleaned up. There's certain steps that you go. And at the kitchen, I have been responsible for the cleaning up the shelves and stuff. And one day, this guy said, "You were not doing the job." "No, I'm doing every day. But look at this." He said, "There's some droppings of the insect on this corner and there." Okay, I did that. I was a bit annoyed. It's such a small thing. And I have been doing. But it kind of stayed with me. And he's just the kind of guy, doesn't say much, just pointing this or that. And I didn't want to disturb him, right? So eventually, I don't know, in a few hours, I start to think, no, I'll take care of this whole thing. It's not taking too much time. So I start to do it instead of, at the time I was doing every other day or so. Now I'm doing it every 5 hours or something. Whenever I have a time, as I eat or stay at the kitchen, I just spend extra 5 minutes, 10 minutes cleaned up all the way. And when that happens with me, when that happens with many people, this is synchronizing harmony. and the tone, the rhythm. So it's like a whole body vibrating. I mentioned about my awakening. The whole organization developed this rhythm without talk. So you can think of many cases. I was involved in the company organizations to transform. And as I said, one of the video was talking about those harmony, tone, and the rhythm. And like this idea of the plan, do, check, act. But I always start with checking what's going on, not just jumping ahead with the plan. Because you have to know what's going on at the time clearly. And if you just go into the plan, then you're jumping ahead. You need to always start with clarity, just like housekeeping and organization and cleaning up. And organization of the altar, kitchen, everything, or hiking. So, what did I say about this phenomena? Entrainment, coherence, synchronization, less waste of energy, clarity, and then if you connect to the mission of your life, my mission, your mission, and if it goes toward the idea like may all beings be happy, and we all move toward that. It may be a small start of activity here and there, and then another one connected, like walking on the street and the rhythm start to develop. It's going into the direction of anti-entropic process, better organization, smoother process, less energy needed. There's a sense of resonance, aliveness, happiness to go with it, beyond the logic of why do I do this, why do you do this, and what, so, instead of talking, people start to look around. Yeah, this makes sense. And when it happens in our human body or in any nature, nature's way of anti-entropic process going against the law of entropy to live over hurdles developed a synchronized idea. I don't know when Carl Jung came up with this synchronization idea. He thought like this. But anyway, whatever the background, there's a synchronicity of his idea and my experience in a different setting as much as in the nature. This is happening. It's a nature's way for a living being. So if we not just think like that, but experientially, when it helps, like any group of people working together have the sense of being connected, like Indra's net, one affects the other and everything is connected. The whole thing is vibrating. And it happens as an organization, as a whole living being, as a way of nature. We just breathe in and breathe out. Mind is clear. When something goes into my mind, it just goes away. So the mind becomes clear, clear, clear. And you feel the body, how it's functioning. And then realize mind and body is one. And there's aliveness. And there's no boundary. Absolute state of being. Do you feel it? Don't think. And connect to that source. What is it? You don't have to think. It is what it is. And your mind become clear and clear. And everything makes sense. And you don't need to disturb that. You can, but you know the impact of it. Well, you can say this one, as I thought. There's a danger in organization to hook up with some idea and believe that it's the way. So, some of those who is good at leadership, hypnotizing organization to get into that state. That's a danger. And those guys may be very good at it. Actually, Nakayama mentioned, who is my mentor in Japan. He wrote lots of books about the Zen and creativity. And he was pointing that when this happens, there are certain conditions for the leaders to share the idea, perhaps like I'm doing, in a quiet tone. And there's usually a little darkness, not too bright, very calm. Maybe the certain rhythm, chanting. And because you do it as a group, there's that sense of camaraderie, team, doing something for the purpose, which is good. But that's the point of potential danger. So you need to choose which group and how it works. Because if you choose a group, gang, or some, even the nation, as if hypnotized, when I was up at 4 o'clock, I didn't think that much. But now as I talk, there's a danger abusing the nature's way in the direction of manipulating, misleading people. Not with the idea of may all beings be happy. More localized way. And if that happens, and if the society cannot process it, it can cause lots of harm. But that's part of the whole equation. As a whole organization, if you individually develop this sense and have a good habit of eating and thinking and doing things, any disturbance you can reject, and you don't lose the rhythm, harmony, and the tone into that direction to make the most of your potential Zenkigen. So let's stop here. This is just a thought and thought experiment, but just to capture some element, not the whole of it. I wish I can do the whole, but maybe we're getting close. But for now, let's be clear in our mind and orient us in an anti-entropic manner, not individually focusing things, but as a group or sangha to accumulate, share, and move into a direction that makes sense. And when you do that, it's natural, the entropic force to shake this up, delusion, and misguided ideas that we need to be careful. So it's 5:20 now. I'll be sitting. Maybe after the sitting, I may come back and talk more. I do these videos often, every day, pretty much. Set the rhythm, harmony, and find a way to live happily. May all beings be happy.